And, I kept reading that if you started a blog, you can monetize it and you can make money. And I was like, well, that sounds pretty simple. I like to write, but I had no idea what I was going to write about. I just started it. And originally, I interviewed a couple of my graffiti artist friends and like featured their art and stuff. But when I was looking through, like, back when hashtags meant something on Instagram, I was like looking through hashtags, looking for graffiti artists, and I kept coming across all these amazing indie rappers that nobody knew who they were. So it dawned on me that I should be giving these guys the credit that they're not getting, because I'm a hip hop head forever. You know what I mean? And I was like, these guys are like amazing lyricists and they're just like incredible and nobody's hearing them. So the new byline for Never Near was shining light on the talent in the shadows. And I actually, over the 5 years, I interviewed at almost 400 people. So it was pretty amazing. And by the end, I started to interview celebs too. Like, so that was like pretty cool. And I did all that on my own. Nobody like introduced me to these people. But I digress. So it turned into this mental health platform because all of a sudden in like 2023, 2024, the blog started showing up on all these like top 10 lists, like top 10 hip hop blogs of like 2023 and stuff. And I was like, what? That many people are reading the blog? So I realized, because of my own mental health struggles, but also because of what I was learning about these men, that it was my responsibility to use that platform to bring awareness to the mental health stigma, because so many people were reading my stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I had to be like, look at this. This is another thing we need to talk about. So,
Recently started reading your stuff, and man, I understand. Like, you go deep, and it's really something that's helpful to me. And just the two or three that I've read so far, it's like, oh my God, that makes so much sense, and it's helping me learn to process some of the things that I'm dealing with, because I have mental health issues that I struggle with as well. So I
right.
understand, and yes, you have very much paved the way for mental health and struggles, and I love it, and I thank you, because not a lot of us are willing to open up about certain topics, and mental health is one of them.
Right.
So yeah, you mentioned that your own family members suffered in silence due to stigma. How did that personal experience influence the way you approach your work with Never Near?
Well, I come from a multi-race family. My dad's Puerto Rican, my sister's African American, and all her kids are Dominican. And she's got three boys now that are in their 30s, I guess, late 20s, early 30s. And she has her other side of the family, her father and her other sisters and stuff. And I guess that because my mother wasn't around, so I guess they more raised her than my mother did. So she grew up with the same kind of conditioning, that generational conditioning that affects the communities of color with the mental health stigma. And her sons were passed on that stigma as well, that same way of looking at things. And they've been through, especially my youngest nephew has been through a lot. And I remember, about 4 years ago, he approached me asking me if I would help him get into therapy. And I was like, absolutely. Say the word and we'll do it. And my sister said no. And, so that made me realize just how deep that conditioning is, because what he went through was pretty heavy.